Hey, welcome back to the Milton Price Report. My name is Chuck Charlton from the Charlton Advantage team at Royal LePage Meadowtown here in Milton. I just got back from vacation, so if I speak a little quieter or a little slower, it's because I'm just relaxed. Had a great vacation at Sandals in Jamaica, but we're back here with the August 2014 report. And we added a lot of really good stuff. So Annette is our market matchmaker, and Annette actually put all the stats together because we've been pulling it in from another website. And I said, you know what, we should just put the stats in the report ourselves. And so I'm excited to share that with you. It's a better and I think a different report than you've seen in previous months. We have 4 realtor partners on our team, plus we have 2 full-time admins. So we really believe in being specialists so that the licensed agents, our job is to go find a buyer for your house, not to do paperwork, not to do some of the admin duties. And if you're looking for a home, we actually proactively get out there, hit the pavement, deliver flyers, make calls, do whatever it takes to find your ideal home before it hits MLS. And obviously, if you're a seller, if you're in our system under our price report, we're reaching out to you if we have a buyer for your house. When you left us your address, it gives us the opportunity to say, okay, this is the neighborhood they live in, and this is the kind of home. And not to be creepy, but to really just kind of say, hey, you know what? If your home is I don't know what your plans are, but if you are thinking of selling, here's a buyer that we've got. You may have already gotten one of those emails from us. So anyway, the report is, take it with a grain of caution, because what you can't always tell from this report, will give you a lot of general market information, but what are homes like yours doing? What's the competition out there right now? Is there a home that's aggressively priced? Is there not a lot where you could maybe find a hole and maybe even price it a little bit higher than what you'd expect, which is what we just did for a nice semi-detached home on Aird Court. And it worked out, and they sold it for $500 less than asking. So it definitely works out. We just did another one in Brampton where a month before we were thinking it was around $375, listed at $385, and we ended up just settling for higher than $380. So that's the kind of stuff where you really, when you understand the market, not to say you can't do it by yourself, but having an expert there really gives you another perspective. So obviously I'd love that for it to be us, but there are a lot of great agents out there as well. There's a lot of agents you want to avoid too. So average days on the market is the first stat. And to me, days on market is the best stat to look at the overall health of the market. And you can see how low it is here. It's the lowest it's been in the last 5 years. And you can tell it's been a very hot 2014. This whole curve is pretty much at or below all the previous year's stats. So this is the one that I'm most concerned about. Number of sales gives us a little bit. Watch what happens with this line is that it's shifted compared to the previous months. We started this year probably about a month to 2 months late. And so that's what we're seeing. Average sales is higher in the month of July than it's ever been the last 5 years. But that's mostly because the weather, right? So we had a really tough winter, and so everything has shifted just as we expected it. Active listings was really low in July, but then also if you look at the new listings that came on the market, they were a little bit higher. So we're starting to see a little bit of a balancing. We're starting to see it tip over where there's a little bit more competition now. And so what I'd expect is days on the market is going to creep up for many reasons. Even looking at past years, that's just what happens. So average sale price is, there's always someone in July and August in the media that says, oh, the market's going down. Well, guess what? It happens every year. I've got 10 years of data to prove that. More if I went back further. But what I look at average sale price, because here's the thing, the market's not really going down, but what happens is the larger homes tend to sell in these two markets, which will float the average price up. But I look at year over year. So you say here you're about maybe 542, 543 in May. And that was last year. And then you creep up and you say the average sale price in the whole GTA, because we can't just do Milton because there's not enough numbers for it to be reliable enough to kind of compare to. But we're at probably 585 here. So That's pretty much like an 8% price increase. The year before it was much less, probably a 4%. So we're maybe averaging about a 6% per year on average. Different homes are doing different things. So if you have a townhouse, you might be up 8 or 9%. If you maybe have a detached home in the higher price point, maybe it hasn't gone up quite as much. The demand on the bottom end from first-time buyers is really driving those prices up high. So we look at year over year. We look at the differences between the years. That's what I get from this graph. And I don't look at the fluctuations and say, okay, well, July is a bad time to sell it, because it's not. It's actually quite a good time if you look at some of the other stats we have. So freehold towns, semi-detached, we saw that the percent of sales compared to the new listings, 71% of the listings that came on the market ended up selling basically in a 30-day period. Days on the market went up though, so that's the competition factor. There were more townhouses and more semis that came on the market, so it was a little tougher. We saw a little bit of variation between them in July where, there were some homes that sold for big dollars, a little bit better inside, a little bit better pictures, the marketing, the staging was all just a little bit better, and these homes were getting a lot more money. There were homes that were still sitting on the market. 30% of the homes sat on the market and didn't sell. So detached homes went back up to about a 28 days on the market, which is around where they were February and March, a little bit cooler than April, May, June. Condo towns, condo apartments, big thing here is that there was a lot of competition, 17, 14, 16 new listings. The market had a lot of those for sale, and there were actually some really good condo towns. And people got some great deals in the month of July. And a lot of people got really good money for their homes too. We saw a couple of them even break the 320 mark. So same thing with condo apartments. We had a big rush in March and April, kind of got swallowed up in May and June, and then we had 19 come out in July. So the next wave of activity really hit the market, so pushed the days on the market up into about 45, which is where it was in February. So overall, things look really good no matter what kind of home you have. If it's put in a good position, marketed well, staged well, it's you're getting top dollar for that home. But it's just, I see the amateur photos, I see these silly mistakes that are costing people so much money, and it's very frustrating. So July is pretty much on par with the year-to-date numbers, a little bit higher sales to new listings. The average price is up a little bit higher, but days on the market is higher too. So some nice words that people have said about us. If you're interested, I've got a lot more of these as kind of a preliminary job interview. I'd be glad to share that with you. And then you can also go and check out the individual sales for homes like yours, detached, semi, townhouses, whatever you have. We've got all the links right below the video. And finally, there's 3 things that you can do next. You can have us over for a pinpoint price analysis, where we really give you the truth of what's going on, and we'll guarantee in writing to sell the home in less than 60 days, because a lot of people will tell you what you want to hear. We'll actually put some skin in the game and really guarantee that it'll happen. The room by room review is actually another option you have, so we can come over and point out the low cost, low time investment, high return improvements that are going to make your home sell for more money. And probably more important is the do not do list, which a lot of times we speak to people and we say, what are your ideas about what you want to do before you sell? They'll give us a list, and probably half of that list on average is not something they should be focused on, but we'll find maybe another 10 or 20% of things that we would put in there that as options can be very beneficial. The last thing is the silent market. So like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, is that we have about 1,000 people that subscribe to this price report. If we have your address, we probably have done a little bit of research, and that usually looks up the details so we know what kind of home you have. Not to be creepy, but to serve you and to say, hey, you know what? If we have a buyer looking for that, we're going to reach out to you. We got 12,000 people that watch or tune into Milton Daily Homes on an everyday basis, miltondailyhomes.com. We have a lot of ways to basically find a buyer without even listing a home. We do it at least 4 or 5 times a year, if probably more. I think this year we've already done it 6 or 7 times. But that's a really good opportunity if you don't want to test the MLS waters, or if you just want to say, hey, is there anybody that's interested? Reach out to us, tell us a bit about your home, and we'd be glad to help you. So that's it. That's the report for this month. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the extra stats. I'm really excited about it. You can probably tell. And we'll be back next month with another issue of the Milton Price Report. Thank you for watching.